Hello, my stamping friends. Christine here from Christine's Stamping Spot. This is take 2 of my attempt at my live video this morning. So I thought I'm just going to record it this time. Apparently my sound got messed up during my live this morning, and I apologize. You guys know how technically challenged I am, and you'd think I'd figure it out, but every time something different happens, and I've just, this Friday is tough for me. Words are hard. So I do apologize. Let's try this video again. And I hope everything will be clear this time, that you can hear me, and that, so I do apologize. So as I mentioned earlier, I don't know if any of that was recorded or not. I think something happened when I flipped my phone at some point, but anyway, so I was showing sort of I'm not going to say a technique really, but a different way to use our DSP where we're using the front and the back side together on a card. And I saw a layout of this on Laura Secchi from Southridge Studio. I thought, oh, that's a really cool way to use designer paper. And, you know, we all know we have tons of it. So I thought I'm going to try to make a design. So I'm using the Delicate Whispers bundle. Now, this was actually a March online exclusive item, and it is still available. I know the paper, which is absolutely gorgeous, was sold out for quite a while, but from what I can tell, it's all now available. So this is the stamp set with some really cool images and greetings, and then these are the dies. You get lots of different dies that cut out the images, and even some extras like some leaves and different things. So really, really lovely bundle. And the paper, I'm just going to quickly show you. So you get 12 sheets, 2 of each design. So colors primarily are Crumb Cake, Basic White, Secret Sea, and there was one, it's funny, this is the paper that we initially, well, I'll tell you that in a second. Okay, so this is the reverse. So you have this pattern, you have this one with the really cute posies on there, like with the metallics. That's why it's a specialty paper. Then you have the plaids and this beautiful gray granite, I believe, and the green. And then this lovely linen, okay? And then the other side here, you can see more of the metallics through here. And this is what I was going to talk about. So this paper was launched as an online exclusive. So as a demonstrator, we get to pre-order product a month before it goes live. So that's a really great perk of being a demo. And when they released this bundle, it was released before the new in colors came out. So this is where we actually discovered that one of our new in colors was going to be Hydrangea Hue, because all the colors are listed on the back of the package, right? So this paper contained Hydrangea Hue, so I was super excited when I saw that that was going to be a new in color. That's my little story. Okay, so we have that pattern, and this one with the posies, beautiful metallics. This one, very lovely, and then these two florals. Okay, so that's the paper we are going to use in our design. All right, so the card is this one. And here you can see where we have used that designer paper, and I'm going to show you how we're going to cut that to get that effect, okay? So I've recut some pieces, and we're going to start over. So we're going to start with a piece of Basic White as our base. So 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4, and we're going to do it landscape, okay, orientation this time. All right. So let's work on that designer paper. So I'm going to bring out my paper trimmer. Let me just move these aside for a sec. Okay, So what you need, you're going to pick a designer paper, any designer paper you want. Just make sure that you like, you know, both sides of the sheet, okay? Because you're going to use both sides. If you want, you could actually use two different pieces of DSP as well, but this is just easier. Okay, so you're going to take a piece and you're going to cut it to 5 by 3 3/4. So this is 5 already. I had an extra piece here from my previous attempts. So 5, and then turn it, and 3 3/4. Okay, so that's the size that you're going to start with. Okay, so I just need to cut off this little strip. Okay, and then you're going to turn it again to the 5-inch side at the top of your trimmer, and we're going to cut it in half. So the halfway mark is 2.5 inches. Okay, 2.5 right here. All right, so we'll cut that down. So now we have two pieces the same size. So let me just move this for a second. So what you're going to do is you're going to flip one over to the reverse side and lay them on top. And then I'm just going to take my ruler, and you can just eyeball this as well if you want. So from the top right, you're going to measure about 1/2 inch. Just make a little tick mark. Okay, so just make a little tick mark at the 1/2 inch mark. And then on the left bottom, you're also going to mark 1/2 inch. Okay. Let me do it this way. Oh. Okay, so 1/2 inch from the bottom, and I'm just going to put another little mark. Okay, so you can eyeball it if you don't want to measure it. You know, it doesn't have to be exact. So you bring your paper trimmer back, and what we're going to do is we're going to line up these two marks in our track of our paper trimmer. So one there and one at the bottom. Now both pieces are still together. Okay. And then we're just going to cut. Now what I want to do first is I want to erase these little marks. Okay. Okay, I think that's probably fine. And then you will have your pieces. Okay. Ta-da! Isn't that so cool how that works? So now you can decide, you know, which order you want or whatever. And then we're going to mount them on a piece of 5 1/4 by 4 Secret C. Okay, because that's one of the colors in the designer paper. So you might want to just lay these out first, just to get a visual of where they're going to go, because they're going to be probably adhered fairly close together, but you still want a teeny bit of that Secret C showing through. Okay, so let's start on this end. Grab my adhesive. And so I'm going to put this probably fairly close to the edge, leaving a little bit of a border all around. Okay, a bit of an edge there. And then we'll do our second piece. Now, I mean, you could probably even just do them all the same, I suppose, but this just adds so much more interest by having it reversed. Okay, so there's our second one. Then our third. Put this way and just line that up. And then our last one. Wow, it's a noisy day out here. We have a road right behind us, and there's lots of traffic for some reason today. School buses and garbage trucks and recycle trucks. Yikes. Okay, so there we go. That is what it looked like. So you can see a little bit of that secret C coming through. Is that just so cool? Now you can decide, do you want it this way on your base, or you can flip it and do it this way. Now because my sample, I had the florals first. I think this one, I'm going to start with the linen first. Okay, now before I put this on the base, I want to add some ribbon. So this is the Secret C bordered open weave ribbon, which is also still available. I checked this morning. Very soft, easy to tie, just really pretty, has a little bit of a sheen to it. And you can attach this wherever you like. Do you want it in the center? Do you want it towards the bottom? I'm going to do mine a little bit towards the bottom. And I'm just going to anchor it with a bit of adhesive here on the back. And then just eyeball it around. Okay, and then we will snip that off. Now, one thing I have been doing with my ribbon, because sometimes over time our adhesive tends to, I'm going to say, kind of dry out. And so that can loosen our ribbon and then it starts to not look so lovely. So I'm just going to put on a piece of tear and tape over the ribbon just to give it an extra bit of security. Okay. Like so. I'm not going to worry about taking off the back. I mean, you can if you want, but nobody's going to see because this is going on the back. Another truck going by. We're actually, where I live today, we are having a large pickup day. So what that means is if you have a large item to go that you want to dispose of, and of course it won't fit in your garbage bin, you can leave one large item out on the curb and they will pick it up for free. And they do this, I think, once or twice a year. And so people put out everything from couches to barbecues to lawnmowers to chairs, like all kinds of stuff that they just want to, you know, get rid of. And so that's probably why there's a little bit of extra traffic in the neighborhood today, because our day is Friday to pick up, and it's usually falls not always on the exact day of your pickup, but in our case, it did happen today. So I think that's why it's a little bit noisier in the neighborhood. Various trucks picking up all those things. Okay, this is a little bit off, but that'll be okay. All right, so there's our ribbon. Cool. So then what I did was I stamped 3 of the flowers from the stamp set. So this one right here. Now I stamped it in Secret C ink. And Secret C, I love. And it's such a deep, rich blue that it can almost look black. So if you kind of are looking for a bit of a black stamp substitute, in a pinch or whatever, try the Secret C, because look at this is how dark it is when it gets stamped. Now that looks pretty black, doesn't it? It can pass for black, right? So just a little tip, if you're, using that. Now I thought I'm going to pull out some of our new blends. So I pulled out the Hydrangea Hue and the Peaceful Pine. So I colored 2. So I'm just going to color the last one quickly. Thought let's pull out these new blends and see how they are. The hydrangea is, wow, really something. Actually, I'm really enjoying all of the ink colors. Not that I've used them a ton yet, but sometimes it takes a little bit to get used to them, but I think they're going to be very popular. Okay, there's our peaceful pine. And then our hydrangea. I'll start with the dark. And I'm always just blown away by certain demonstrators, how wonderful their coloring and artistic skills are. Oh, some of the finished, you know, coloring things they show are just so beautiful. Yeah, some really talented people out there. Okay, and I'm just gonna color this, make it look a little bit like heather. This one here. Okay, so let me finish with a light, just a little bit. And these were cut out with the matching die, so which is always handy. Okay, so I'm gonna leave a little bit of it. Okay, that'll do. There's that hydrangea, really pops. Okay, so let's put these aside because first I'm going to put on some leaves. Okay, so I cut these out of the dies, out of Secret Sea. Now I could have done these on an adhesive sheet and I did not for some reason. So I'm just going to use the liquid glue and just sort of, oh, come on, just sort of dab it just a little bit because I don't want it to seep out. And another way to do this that I've seen as well is some people, you know, just put a dab of the glue on their silicone mat and then take a sponge and just sort of go over. And that way, you know, it goes on evenly and shouldn't leave any big blobs or anything. So, okay. Just enough to tack it down. So I'm going to put these a little more to the left than on that first one. Okay, so I'm just going to press that down and then we'll do the second one. Just a little bit. So is everybody going to have a lovely Father's Day with your dad, if you are still blessed with your dad, or your husband, or your partner, or yes, it's their day on Sunday. Kind of snuck up on us too, didn't it? A little bit. I hope you'll have a nice card for your special guy. Okay, so those are on. So let's attach these flowers and we are going to do them with some dimensionals. And I'm going to use some little ones and some large ones. Oh, the dogs are out barking too. Not all, we don't have a dog, but neighbors do in the area. So we've had so much rain lately. It's, you know, it felt like it's been raining for 40 days and 40 nights. I was teasing my husband. I think we almost need to get an ark pretty soon, but I think that's why the dogs are having a great time outside because they've been inside so much. Oh my gosh. We're all hoping for some sunshine too. I know the rain is very important, especially with the, you know, with the risk of forest fires, which has always been an issue here the last few years. Not in our direct city, but north of us and in British Columbia. And then depending on the winds, you know, it just blows right over. And then you can't really sit outside very comfortably either because of the smoke. So we're hoping the forest fire season will not be too terrible this year. Okay, so there are the flowers. It's coming. And then I'm going to put a greeting. So I did Hello Friend, which is in the stamp set. We also have wishing you happiness and love. Thank you kindly and hope you feel your best soon. So I did Hello Friend, Secret C on basic white, and I cut it out with one of the stylish shapes dies. Now I want to cut off the end of the flag. I mean, I could put it on, but I kind of like it without the one end sometimes. It's just something different. Now I don't need to cut off much. I could do it with scissors, but the way my day is going with my videos, I think I'm just gonna do it with my paper trimmer. Okay. So let us put this over here. We're just gonna put it to the edge of the designer paper and hopefully get that fairly straight, like so. And then last, we're going to add a little bit of bling with our rhinestones. This is still a very old package. You can tell it has a couple of different sizes, which I don't think we have now. I think now they're pretty much one size. Okay, there. I think that works. And there you go. See, so you can see the different order arrangement of that DSP, and it just gives a nice little background effect. And like, try this with any designer paper you have. We have so many great patterns. Yeah, I just really like how those get sort of puzzled together. So again, I apologize for the live. I'm hoping I will have everything tip-top shape next week. But I did want to just re-record this and hopefully with the sound so you guys can hear what I was trying to say initially and show you the project that I did do. Okay, so I hope you all have a great weekend, a great Father's Day, and we will see you next time. Bye, everybody.